Hi everybody, this is Josh Steele from Anglican Compass with a quick Facebook Live video just to let y'all know that the latest edition of our daily office booklet is out. This one will take you from May through the end of August of 2020. And in this video I just wanted to give just a little tour of what's in the daily office booklet. But before we even get to that, I want to just show you that when you subscribe, the very first thing that'll get sent to you is a PDF of the daily office booklet that's been pre-formatted to print off, fold in half, and make a booklet. Okay, so what you're seeing right now is what ends up being the front and the back cover of the booklet. All right, so the key to printing off this PDF that you'll get sent is to print it off two-sided, flipping each page on the short edge as opposed to the long edge. Right now, the way that you do that is slightly different on a Windows PC versus a Mac, so I'm not going to walk through all the details involved in doing that. But basically, if you print it off and you flip each page on the long edge, then every other sheet of paper is kind of going to be upside down for you. But if you print it off, flipping each page on, let's see, the short edge, what you should get is a printed stack of sheets of paper that has stuff printed on both sides of each sheet that you can take, fold in half, and then staple if you'd like to make a nice little booklet. Okay, so that's what gets sent to you when you first subscribe to get on our email list, is this pre-formatted booklet format PDF. But then you'll also get emailed just a full page PDF if you prefer that, as well as a full page format Word document if you prefer to use that. That'll get sent to you in an automated email that sends, I think, 60 minutes after you first subscribe to our email list. All right, so now let me just give you a quick tour of the contents. The idea behind this booklet is that I've taken the morning and evening prayer services as they appear in the ACNA's 2019 BCP. I've simplified them just a little bit. I've made the instructions just a little bit clearer for newcomers if you've never used the Book of Common Prayer before. And I've taken all of the scripture readings and all of the collects of the Christian year that you use on a weekly basis, and I've put them right in the booklet. So you should be able to, with just the booklet and a Bible or the Bible on your smartphone, with just those two things, you should be able to do morning prayer and evening prayer according to the ACNA 2019 BCP. Okay, so the first couple pages of this booklet, I've written out instructions on how to use it. I've explained a little bit about the ACNA's Daily Office Lectionary, which is the source of the scripture lessons that are used. And I've also included a way to sort of do shortened versions of the prayer services. So I've underlined the headings for the sections that I take to be the most important, sort of like, the 80-20 carry the most weight sections of morning prayer and evening prayer. If you pray just the underlined headings of the sections, which is the confession of sins, asking for pardon and peace, reading today's scripture lessons, reciting the Apostles' Creed, praying the Lord's Prayer, and praying the collect of the day, what you end up with is something very similar to the family prayers in the Book of Common Prayer, which are just shortened versions of the daily office prayer services. So I've included those for you as well as a way of shortening the services. Right at the front of the booklet, I give you the 30-day psalm reading schedule. So if you want to go through all 150 psalms every 30 days as opposed to every 60 days, then you would read the psalms as indicated in this table. Then the actual prayer services start. So I've taken the opening sentences of scripture for morning prayer and for evening prayer. You've got 3 options there that you can use all year long. All right, so the idea is to just pick one of those as you're starting each prayer service. Then I've got the confession of sins. I should also mention that anything that's marked with an asterisk like this is something that the leader would say. So if you're praying the daily office with a group of people, you usually have one leader who leads various elements in the service. So things that are marked with an asterisk, like asking God for pardon and peace after the confession of sin, that's something that the leader would say on their own. If it's not marked with an asterisk, then you should assume that the entire group should say that portion in unison. So the confession of sin, for example, would be said by everyone in the group, including the leader, and then just the leader would lead the prayer for pardon and peace. Then we have a canticle. I've simplified things by just selecting one canticle for each slot in the prayer services, although there are many more options in the full Book of Common Prayer. So right now in the morning, we've got the Jubilate to start things off. In the evening, we've got the Phos Hilaron. Then we've got the tables of scripture lessons. So again, this takes you from May through the end of August. So I have those months' scripture readings laid out for you. There's an explanation at the front of the book on how to take this 1-year lectionary and adapt it to go through it at a 2-year pace. The instructions on how to do that are at the front of the booklet. But I've given you all of the scripture readings for May through August. Scroll down through these. All right, and then I've given you 2 more canticles, one for the morning, which is the Te Deum, one for the evening, which this time around is the Magnificat. Then you recite the Apostles' Creed all together, pray the Lord's Prayer all together, pray what are known as the suffrages, which can be done as a call and response with the leader saying the first line of each couplet and then everyone else responding with the second line. And then the next large section is the collects for this 4-month section of the year. Okay, so what I've done is I've gone through and I've taken the collects for the particular feast days, such as the feast day of St. Philip and St. James on May 1st. I've given you all of those. And then I've also indicated when you should use the previous Sunday's collect. Okay, so it's a little tricky right at the beginning of May because on May 1st, it's a feast day of Philip and James. But then on May 2nd, which is a Saturday, you should actually use the collect for the previous Sunday, the 3rd Sunday of Easter. And then starting on May 3rd, you would go to the 4th Sunday of Easter and you would pray that collect for the following week until May 10th, when you would start praying the 5th Sunday of Easter. As I note at the beginning of this section, unless there's a special collect for that particular day, the normal thing to do is that you pray each Sunday's collect for the entire following week. So it's kind of like on Sunday morning, the collect for that week gets introduced, and then you continue using that for the following week until the next Sunday's collect. Unless a feast day like Philip and James on May 1st kind of interrupts that sequence. That's the way to go. All right, so I've given you all of the collects from the Book of Common Prayer, all here in one section. So you'll work your way through those, and it takes you all the way through the end of August. So there's quite a few collects here. After that, what I've done is I've taken sort of the 2 traditional prayers that are prayed at morning prayer and at evening prayer, and I've given you each of those. So in the morning, you would pray these 2 collects. In the evening, you would pray these 2 collects. There's also sort of like a day of the week rotation, so you pray a certain Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday prayer. But I've just simplified things down into just 2 options per prayer service. If you want all the options, then go to the full Book of Common Prayer. And then I've taken and I've given you the 3 different options at each prayer service for the collects for mission. So I've tried to indicate clearly that the idea is to just pick one of these at each prayer service, one in the morning and then one in the evening. And then following that, this is the space in the morning and evening prayer services where if you want to add your own petitions, intercessions, and thanksgivings, this is the place to do so. So I've kind of just taken just a very simple bullet point list to remind you of different things that you can pray for. and I've given you some blank lines at the bottom of the page to record prayer requests and praise reports as you wish. There's also a few blank pages at the end of the booklet that you can use for that purpose as well. And then finally, we give thanks to God all together, and then the leader prays the closing prayer and leads everyone in saying the grace to conclude each prayer service. All right, and then like I said, there's a few blank sheets. That mainly had to do with getting the number of pages correctly so that it can print out in this booklet layout. But you can also use the blank pages at the end to keep track of prayer requests and things like that. All right, so that's just a quick overview of the contents of this booklet. I hope that's helpful. If you'd like to learn more, I would really encourage you to go to our website. You can go to anglicanpastor.com/daily office booklet. And there I give you a little bit of history about the daily office. I explain in more detail the contents of the booklet. I give printing instructions. Basically, if you want to learn more about the daily office and how to use this booklet, go to anglicanpastor.com/daily office booklet, all one word. And hopefully all of your questions will be answered there. All right. So I really hope that you find this booklet helpful. I first made this as a way to get my youth group students to try out the daily office. And since then, a bunch of people have just let me know that it's a helpful sort of introduction to morning prayer and evening prayer. I've tried to simplify things and yet still remain faithful to the prayer book services. So I hope you enjoy it. If you have any suggestions on how to make the booklet better, please let me know. You can leave comments in this video. You can use the contact form at our website. That goes right to my email inbox. I'm always looking to improve this booklet with each subsequent edition, so I welcome your feedback. All right, I hope this was helpful. Talk to you soon. Bye.